Good evening, Internet, and welcome back to, at long last, Bloodstone. This is a Four Dads fifth edition D&D game with 6 friends playing in the 7th month, and I am 8BitPonies. I finally found a way to get all the way through that. I am 8BitPonies, your DM for the evening. These are my very good friends. If it's been a while since you've been with us, or if you've never seen us before, this is like I said before, a 5th edition um, D&D campaign, but it's a campaign that we have been playing in one form or another for the better part of the last 14 years now. Holy cow! We've only been on Twitch for a very, very short time. This is only episode 16 since we've come to Twitch to share this with the internet. But we're having a really good time doing it. I think it's been a month almost since our last session because the summer is horrible for trying to keep schedules. And you'll notice that Thoros'l/Zale is not here this evening. He is traveling with his family, and we wish him well on his vacation. The rest of us are just going to have to try to soldier through without our resident angry elf. But we're going to have a good time while we're doing it, and we hope you have a good time with us. Hey, Cast, how's it going? Fellas?
Hey.
Fantastic.
Great.
Greetings.
All right. Well, without any further ado, we will dive into Bloodstone for the evening. When last we left our intrepid group of adventurers, our party, the pieces of our party that are kind of scattered all over the place, are once again split. Different split this time. This time we have Sprout, Makaria, Alanere, and Thoros'l off investigating the Shadow's Rest, what used to be the Shadow's Rest Tavern, a tavern just outside the city walls of Heliogabalus that was the site of an ambush just very recently, within the last few hours. Alanere went there for a clandestine meeting with who he believed to be the Queen of Bloodstone, Christine Dragonsbane, and things kind of went sideways. After the battle that ensued, and the unfortunate loss of a number of townsfolk or patrons of the Shadow's Rest, Alanere barely escaped with his life and retreated back to Oakhart, the ancestral manse of the Oks family, where Baron Eldrick Oks is currently in residence and is planning for what we're referring to kind of colloquially as the Baron Mitzvah, a party being thrown by his mother, the Lady Madeline Oaks, to celebrate his ascension to the barony of Morov, the province around the city of Heliogabalus. Heliogabalus is not a part of Morov, but it does physically reside within the bounds of the barony. While preparing for the party in just over 24 hours from now, the preparations were interrupted by Alanere fleeing through transport via plants and stepping out of the great oak tree in the center of the courtyard of the Oaks Manor, Oakhart. He brought the information to Eldrick that Drougg had been sighted within the confine or within the environs of the city, and they were the ones responsible for attacking him and perhaps murdering the Queen, Christine Dragonsbane. Though what actually happened there is a little bit fuzzy, as Alanere did not actually see what happened. Marshaling their forces together, the party decided to send a delegation back to the Shadow's Rest and try to do some investigation. Eldrick was persuaded to stay home in the relative safety of Oakhart, as he too was the target of an alleged assassination attempt the previous day. The rest of the party traveled to the Shadow's Rest and found that a contingent of the Bloodstone army had already arrived on the scene and had cordoned off the entirety of the block, and were in the process of removing bodies from the scene of the crime and investigating exactly what had happened there. Using some trickery and some enchantment magic, the party was able to talk their way and convince the captain or the captain of the army that was in control of the situation to let them in, with Sprout pretending to be Eldrick via a hat of disguise. We're referring to him as Eldrick Folks. The investigation ensued, and they found that despite what the general populace believes, it was not in fact a demon attack, but Alanere was able to convince the investigators on the scene that the Drow were in fact responsible, and kind of tell without telling the powers that be within the city of Heliogopolis that they have a Drow problem. When we left off the last time, the party had just completed that conversation and had sent the two researchers, one Lyra Aldrich and one Darius Zvonimir, on to report that information to the captain, Captain Leif Gerbald, the commanding officer of the contingent that had taken control of the Shadow's Rest. What they are going to do from there is entirely up to them. So I will ask you, gentlemen and lady Makaria, what are your plans now? Anybody still there?
Well,
Don't all talk at
awkward
once.
silence here.
I think it's probably best for us to make our exit, really.
I agree. I think we probably need to do something about the captain, question mark? Potentially
How
bring
about-
him...
We got
how about this?
a few hours. Go.
You guys head back to the tree. I'll go talk to the captain. And I will meet you there.
Okay. I can do that.
Okay. So is that
My lord.
Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow fake Eldrick.
So Sprout as
Eldrick.
Eldrick is leading the party minus Alanere up and out of the cellar. You'll see that Lyra and Darius, the two white-robed... I'm sorry, that's not the correct names. It was Seema and Katya, the two white-robed researchers or investigators who you met down in the cellar of the Shadow's Rest. Seema and Katya. They are currently standing outside the tavern with the captain. The captain seems to have a number of soldiers of varying types standing around him, and they all appear to be deep in conversation. Are you just going to walk on by? How are you gonna manage this?
Absolutely. I'm going to kind of like walk up close enough to where they can at least see my presence, and then kind of almost do like the clear my throat thing, like to let myself be known that I'm there and need to say something.
Okay. And the rest of you, what are you doing? You're just walking on past?
While he is grabbing their attention, I will continue on and head basically, for the most part, a beeline casually to the tree.
casually beeline to the tree. Got it. So you're going to leave, get out of the city, or get out of the tavern itself, and essentially duck into an alley and try to get as far away from the Shadow's Rest as possible. And then once you're outside the lights of the city, start climbing back up toward the tree up in the hills that you had originally come from.
Yes. Once I duck into an alley, so to speak, and I am sure that I am out of sight from anyone that I am aware of, I will casually take the hat off.
Okay. Go ahead, those of you who are not Alanere, and I will do so for Thoros'l. We're going to make a group stealth check, as you're not trying to sneak necessarily, but you are trying to kind of walk past quickly. Oh, that is a natural 20 from Makaria. Congratulations. That
23
that
altogether.
is not a natural 20 from
Yeah.
Sprout. So that is one success and one failure. And then for Thoros'l, we're going to get... I think his stealth is actually fairly decent. So we'll
It used
say...
to be.
Yeah.
A rogue, I am not.
We'll say that with the natural 20, even though the other two rolls were somewhat suspect, we'll say that you guys, and the fact that you are your retreat is being covered by Alanere forcibly trying to grab people's attention. We'll say you managed to make it away from the Shadow's Rest without being challenged. You will pass a cordon. Excuse me. Even kind of trying to stay away. You will pass the same cordon of soldiers that you had originally passed. Corporal Valeria is still on watch and makes kind of a half-hearted of... Is there anything further you require, my lord? As you go by.
Who is he talking to?
You.
He said, my lord.
Yes. At what point did I take off my hat? Before or after this interaction?
You said that you would wait and take off your hat until you were sure that you weren't being seen. This
Yes.
will be while you're still
Okay.
masquerading as Eldrick.
Great. Nothing at this point in time. Thank you, sir.
Oh, all right then. Well, be safe out there. Do you require an escort?
No, we are perfectly fine. Thank you. I appreciate your concern. You as well should be safe. These are troubling times.
All right then. And he kind of looking a little confused at the kind of strange circumstances at which the Baron of Morov arrived essentially at his checkpoint, and then left again without any further word. He doesn't say anything additional, but you can see that there's something. Yeah, he considers the situation somewhat irregular. We'll say that, but no further molestation by the Bloodstone army. You are away once you get into the darkness of the Shadow Gap and away from lights of buildings. You're able to take off the hat and resume your previous appearance, and the three of you together make your way out of the district and up into the hills. Alanere, as you approach, you hear that Katya, the woman that you had talked to earlier, is very excitedly explaining to Captain Gerbald and another man who you haven't seen before, who's kind of a bald. He's wearing robes, but he appears to be wearing like a breastplate and a kind of a red skull cap. Go ahead and make me a religion check if you like.
I would like. Let's see. Not terrible. I got a 23 total.
23 isn't, not terrible indeed. You recognize that Eldrick doesn't generally wear this sort of more traditional Ilmatari garb, but the kind of grayish robes and the red skull cap. You've seen Ilmatari priests, whether they're militant or otherwise, are known for that particular style of dress. So you
Okay.
you correctly
that
mark
for-
him.
Is
Go
that what the pain bearers or whatever they're called, or is that a
Pain
separate group?
Pain bearers are a specific title within the Ilmatari faith. Not
Oh,
all
okay.
priests are pain bearers, but all pain bearers are priests.
Gotcha.
But you also notice that he has the same sort of insignia kind of on his uniform or on his armor that also marks him as a member of the Bloodstone military or Bloodstone army. And in
Okay.
addition to the Bloodstone army insignia, you see with the Bloodstone army patch, which is damn it, I cannot remember off the top of my head what the sigil is for the Bloodstone army. Bear with me just a second, and I will know. But it is specifically not the Heliogabalus or Morov. Oh, it is. In fact, it is a golden shield with a pair of scales, a pair of silver scales. That's the Kingdom of Bloodstone symbol, the golden shield
Okay.
with silver scales. In addition to that sigil that he wears, there is a kind of a silhouette behind the silver scales on the golden shield of a white tree. You're not familiar with that
Hmm.
particular branch or detachment within the Bloodstone military, but you do mark it with your 23 on religion. You do mark it as being different.
So one might say, like, this is almost the equivalent of a fairly highly decorated soldier or
Potentially,
officer.
or at the very least, somebody that is outside of the normal rank and file of the Bloodstone army.
Okay.
Um, he's he the robed skull-capped fellow and Captain Gerbald, who you met earlier, who is in full armor and also wears the same sort of insignia on his armor, are standing with 3 other soldiers, one of whom is a dwarf. And the 2 white-robed fellows that you had been speaking to before, and they're all having a very furtive conversation. And Katya, the woman that you talked to just a little while ago, is, as I said, very excitedly explaining that as you kind of walk up with your very high perception, you hear, very unlikely, Captain, that there's any sort of demonic taint here. I believe that the elf uh, it speaks true that this was an attack of the Drow. What was cited could potentially have been a demon of some type, but given that we were unable to trail it or find any, and she kind of pauses as the eyes of everyone start to turn to you as you walk up. You don't even get the chance to clear your throat as you walk up. Everybody falls silent and they turn to you. Oh,
Alanere say, Captain Gerbald, do you mind if I have just a moment of your time?
Gerbald kind of eyes you, remembering you from earlier. Kind of, he kind of frowns a bit, and he kind of gestures to the people standing around and say, investigators, that will be enough for the time being. I will summon you to continue your report in a moment. Give us a moment. Bogdan, you stay. And the 3 soldiers, a male dwarf, a male human, and a female human, and the 2 researchers kind of they all eye you as they walk past and return to whatever it was that they were doing before. The cleric and the captain stay put. You
All
were
right.
with the Baron, yes?
Yes,
You were the
I
elf
am.
that my investigators mentioned as providing additional information on the attack that happened here.
I am.
What do you what need do you have of me?
Um, well, I would actually just like to formally invite you. Um, I'm sure you're more than a little curious why Lord Baron Oaks was so quick to investigate this, or his, let's just say, his curiosity about it. So I would like to formally invite you to come meet with Baron Oaks at Oaks Manor inside the city proper at your earliest convenience. I'm sure you have many questions that could be answered.
The two men kind of look at you, and they look at each other, and you can tell that they were not expecting you to say that. There's some, not specifically confusion, but maybe a little bit of surprise on their faces. The Baron has already departed.
He has.
I see. And you, beyond what my investigators have reported, you have additional information regarding this occurrence this evening, or the Baron does.
The Baron, yes.
I
He will
see.
have more information.
Well, they kind of pause for a moment, and again, they're looking back and forth. They're frowning. Convey my appreciation then to Baron Oaks, and you can inform him that I will personally see to visiting him at his manor presently, as soon as the Baron can expect me by sunrise.
Alanere will give a little bit of a nod and say he will be glad to be able to meet with you and to speak more privately about this investigation, as it's closer to his chest than he would like the masses to know.
Make me an insight check.
All right. Insight check. Here we go. 17 total.
Okay. Versus. Okay.
Ooh.
You can tell that something passes between the two men that they're having this conversation, and neither of them look pleased. They're being formal, they're being polite, but neither of them look particularly happy with this particular revelation. You don't get anything more than that, but on the surface the cleric says nothing. The captain is the very model of polite and formal. But yeah, you get the feeling that neither of them are very happy with the situation. There's some annoyance that seems to be pretty prevalent.
My
Modern
guess is
Major General, maybe?
my guess is that they're not in the loop, but
Uh,
that's just a guess. Maybe
c-
they don't like things being withheld from them. I don't
Maybe they
know.
don't like people stomping on their jurisdiction.
Convey my appreciation to the Baron and assure him that that I will accept his invitation presently. Might I ask your
I
name,
will do so.
sir?
My name is Alanere Nightsky.
He seems to think on that, and the moment passes. Well, Master Nightsky, you also have my appreciation for your contribution to the investigation. I understand that it was you who brought forth the revelation that this was, well, this attack appears to have originated from, shall we say, different sources than were previously believed.
Well, I'm glad I could shed some light on the situation.
He seems to be almost about to ask another question. You see him open his mouth as though he's going to say something else, but then he promptly closes it again. Well, if that is all, Master Nightsky, then I have much to attend to. And please, again, convey my appreciation to the Baron Oaks.
I will. I shall return and inform him of what you have said.
He gives you a very curt nod and then turns his back and starts to, with the other man in tow, walk back toward the other group of soldiers.
And I will start my way heading back to the tree.
Great. Anything additional that you guys want to do, or are you just headed back to Oakhart?
I mean, I'm planning on just heading back to Oakhart.
Okay. So you're going to head back to the tree.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Okay. You have not yet made it out of the city well, you're not in the city proper, but you're not out of the neighborhood of the Shadow's Rest when you realize, just because your passive perception is ridiculously high and I rolled ridiculously low, you're being followed.
Oh, okay. That makes it easy. I will go ahead and shapeshift into a bird
Okay.
and more or less fly into the night
Okay.
and attempt to lose him.
So basically, you're not exactly sure who or what is following you, but realizing, okay, someone's behind me, someone is following me at some distance. You wait until you essentially try to break the plane, quickly duck into an alley, and then shapeshift and fly out, and just move on.
Yes.
Okay, easy enough. Well, it's unlikely that they're going to be able to follow you that way. So, a few moments later, probably, given that you, Alanere, are able to fly directly there, and you know exactly where you're going, as opposed to the rest of your party who have to walk and have only been there once, you probably beat them back to the tree, but not by a whole lot.
Yeah.
You guys are experienced adventurers, and you know how to mark your path and where to pick your way back up through an area that you passed through less than an hour ago. Not a particular difficulty, but you do make it back up to the tree that you originally used to transport back to Oakhart.
And pretty much as people start arriving, I'll be like, "Are we ready to go?" I believe we've probably got a little more attention than we wanted.
Gee, wonder who fault is that?
Thoros'l is staring daggers at Makaria, but does not speak.
I'm looking at Sprout.
Hey, it's Eldrick's fault. He should have helped out.
He did. So, all right. With that, I'm going to go ahead and use another transport. Actually, I have to use an 8th level spell slot for a transport via plants.
Okay. Well,
Back
then
to the manor.
back to Oakhart Manor. But when you arrive back at the manor, it's probably closer to maybe 3 a.m. at this point. It's getting late, but it's been late, but it's getting early in the morning. You're only probably 2 or 3 hours away from sunrise. The courtyard isn't dead, but the flurry of activity that was going on here just a couple of hours earlier, or even an hour earlier, is gone. You'll note there are house guard, Oakhart house guard that are patrolling, and they come to meet you as you step out of the tree, somewhat expecting that now, realizing, having been told that is something that happens here now, is that people step out of trees in the courtyard. They don't immediately bring weapons to bear, but
Reportation.
they do approach whenever you step out, and once they recognize, oh yeah, you're the people who travel with the big boss man, they'll give you a nod and offer to escort you back indoors. Eldrick, what are you doing? This may be an hour and a half from when your companions left. Are you sleeping? You're muted, whatever you're doing.
Why wouldn't I be muted? That sounds like a great idea. Eldrick actually would have spent his time in the courtyard. He would have went and got dressed and then come back and spend his time in the courtyard, going over some Ilmatari texts. And he actually would have cast a spell in that time frame.
Okay. Go right ahead.
Think. Let me make sure that has a time casting that is acceptable. With some time to kill and the potential possibility that an attack might be happening, Eldrick feels it is time that he bolsters his team's ranks a little bit, and he is going to use a 4th level spell to cast Find Greater Steed.
Okay.
With the intention of summoning a Pegasus, preferably one related to Ilmater, but that's kind of why he's poring over the text to see if he can find like a specific mount that would be like in theme for Ilmater.
Interesting.
But that is his current game plan. So he will probably be surprised, I suspect, when the nightmare pops out or whatever it is that you end up throwing at him. But that is the game plan.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, then you are able to complete your casting.
By the way, I'm not using the stone for that. Just to be explicit on that.
Oh,
That's
okay.
That's a spell I absolutely have access to through just being a paladin of 16th level.
Oh, well, that changes things. No, I'm kidding.
Just saying. So Cthulhu probably isn't going to pop out.
Well, who knows?
It would be an interesting mount.
Hey, he can fly.
Truth.
And step over cities. Had a dream about that once. Anyway.
Eldrick had a dream about that, or Souls
Yeah,
did?
except he was a lion.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Eldrick did.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hammond's gonna be so mad.
Hammond is out to pasture. He had a great life. He's retired. He's banging fillies and eating oats, man. He's good.
You're gonna get Hammond 2.0.
Yeah, except that when this one gets killed, it just vanishes until I cast the spell again.
Okay. Well, it takes a little time to cast, but as you're casting the spell, you feel that connection to Ilmater, as you're opening up your mind and opening up your heart, and you're beseeching your god for that divine power. It's got quite a long cast time. Find Steed is in the player's handbook. Is there a Find Greater Steed in a different?
Find Greater. Yeah, it's in Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Xanathar's.
It's
Okay, great.
10-minute cast time.
10-minute cast time as well.
Yeah. Assuming that's acceptable. If it's not, I can do the other one.
No, it's perfectly fine.
Excellent.
You cast the spell. You take the time. You set out all of the necessary elements for creating the ritual or completing the ritual, and you're pouring through the tomes, trying to find some mystical connection to a creature that is a physical representation of your deity. You have something pictured in your mind, and you're attempting to cast it. You feel that power well up inside you, and you complete the ritual, and you feel that power issue forth out into the multiverse. And you feel a warmth kind of fill you as that connection between you and Ilmater that has only recently returned
Right about that.
is 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 established. You feel that connection to your god, and it's almost as though you feel a very calming, very gentle hand resting on your shoulder. But nothing else happens. You cast the spell, you felt that connection, but at least immediately, nothing happens. You're expecting to hear the whinny of a horse as a beautiful white winged stallion floats down from the sky, and you're left feeling that okay, that happened. Ilmater heard my prayer, but just leaves you feeling a little cold.
Well, Eldrick will be a little downhearted by that, but he's trusted Ilmater up to this point, so he's not going to get too upsetty spaghetti about it. He thinks maybe he should sleep on it, so he's going to head to bed. He is going to tell the guards that if anybody pops out of the tree this evening, or if any alarm is sounded, or anything suspicious is seen, to like wake him up immediately. And then he's going to head to bed. He's going to stay dressed, but he's going to go get some sleep.
Okay. So then maybe an hour passes, and you're just you're having a little bit of difficulty getting to sleep. It's late, and you're tired because it's been a very long day. The exertion required to complete that spell, that ritual, took a little bit out of you, and you were very tired. But you're not sleepy, and you're kind of electric. You got that feeling that, man, the shit could hit the fan at any moment. There could be shouts of alarm as you're once again in battle with the Drow, as they're hitting you where you live. The expectation that something is coming makes it very, very difficult for you to get any sleep. And it seems like you've just barely even laid down and closed your eyes, and a knock comes at your door. My Baron, my Lord Baron, your companions have arrived.
Up into the door, thanking the guard and or runner who is there, and then I'm heading to the tree.
Oh, you don't have to make it all the way out to the tree, because as you come out of your rooms, you see your 4 companions resting in the sitting room just outside your suite of rooms on the 2nd floor.
Well, what? And he's going to look directly to Alanere primarily. Is everyone okay? Did you find out anything helpful?
Well, I think so. The Bloodstone Armory responded pretty quick. They already had the area more or less roped off and was investigating the attack by the time we got there. There was a Captain Gerbold that was kind of in charge there.
You recognize the name Eldrick, somebody who is a little bit older than you are. He's been around for a little bit longer than you, but you don't know him well. You just know the name.
Gotcha.
So we may have done a few things to make them believe that one of us was you.
He was highly suggestible, just saying. He wasn't well fortified.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
So we had to do that in order to gain access to the site. We convinced I was able to actually kind of convince some of the investigators what had happened, that it was a drow attack. So the army seems to think that it was a drow attack, as it was, rather than a demon attack.
Well, that's certainly good.
So if I had to take the guess, the demon they thought they saw was probably me.
In your giant monkey form?
Yes.
That would be quite frightening for a citizen.
So while we were there, I had an idea.
Do tell.
Clearly, I'm starting to think that clearly the players that are involved in this are very well connected, very high up, very wealthy. So this may be a very from the top down problem. So I thought if we could work on maybe the ground level, the lower level troops, and work our way up, it might kind of give us a way to fight back. So I invited Captain Gerbald here to speak with the Baron Oaks about the investigation that we were there for. Kind of a lead in to kind of get him away and maybe speak with him, get on terms, see kind of what he knows, where he's at, and maybe kind of convince him that there's a real problem here.
That seems sensible.
And so he agreed to come here, and he said he would probably be here by sunrise.
All right.
I know it's not much time, but I saw an idea, had an opportunity, decided to jump on it.
I think it's a good call. Do you... I don't suspect he'll be coming alone. Makaria, I assume he's likely to have become less suggestible by the time he gets here?
Well, I can drop it early, but I can keep it on for a few more hours.
And what happens if you drop that spell?
Oh, he'll know right away, and he'll just same thing that will happen in a few hours.
He'll know what?
Oh, that I cast magic on him and manipulated his mind.
So, when you drop that spell, an officer of the military is going to know that their mind has been affected by a member of Eldrick Oks' entourage.
Correct. That was saying specifically
Just
no demons were affecting that area.
Just wanted to be sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Eldrick, I have to ask. I saw the insignia of the Bloodstone Army, but it seemed like it was like a behind, or like the insignia had like a white oak tree behind it. You know what the significance of that is?
Souls' guess is he's probably like tomorrow's special guard defending against demons. But can I make a religion check to see if I know specifically what that means?
Religion or history would be fine, yes.
Or history. I'm going to go with the religion. They're both a +8. Both about the same. So we're going to go with the religion. That'd be a 25 with a 17 on the die.
25. Yeah, you recognize that. It's a small contingent of what in modern parlance would be Army Special Forces. They're called the Wardens of the White Tree. They're basically anti-demon inquisitors that basically get carte blanche from the crown and from the military to do whatever is required to root out and defeat any demonic presence within the within their jurisdiction, and their jurisdiction is wherever.
Oh, fantastic!
All right, Eldrick's going to ponder that for a minute and then look to Alanere. They are they're the Wardens of the White Tree, and they are the law. Like in Austria, if I pretended I was the law, because I was enforcing the law, but they've got the do whatever they need to root out demons card. And I do mean whatever.
Okay, so I should also tell you that what the captain was, it looked to be like an Ilmatari who had that insignia of the Wardens of the White Tree.
Well, that would track beings that you said they thought it was demons first.
Yes.
That would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, with a 25, you recognize that you would know, Eldrick, that given that the Bloodstone Kingdom is supposedly protected against all abyssal fiends based on the pact that King Gareth made with the Platinum Dragon back at the end of the Bloodstone Wars, symbolized by the white tree of Bloodstone.
Yep.
And given that Zhengi, the main bad guy from that period of your history, it was a servant of Orcus, a demon prince. Nobody in the Bloodstone Kingdom has any sense of humor whatsoever when it comes to demons. And they take all reports of demonic activity or even lower planar activity very, very seriously.
Eldrick will give the summation of that to Alanere and then say, Makaria, when they get here, you might want to be scarce. No offense. I just don't think you want an uppity inquisitor all up in your business.
I can be completely unseen.
Well, this person is likely to be a cleric or a paladin. So tread carefully. We have ways of seeing things that aren't seen.
Okay, so non-detectable. Gotcha.
Indeed. Also, side question. Do you have any powerful spells for seeing through illusions?
Put me within a place where I can find it. I can dispel it. I could probably break it easily. No, from a distance, no.
Well, at the dinner, if somebody could make sure all the guests are who they say they are, that would be greatly appreciated.
I can detect magic, and if
Well,
I sense it, I can
I can detect
completely.
magic. Every one of them rich, snotty mother truckers is going to be wearing a magic ring of who knows what.
Let me look at what I might be able to perhaps go through. It's been a while since I've switched out some of my spells.
Appreciate it. Eldrick will look to Thoros'l. Did the trip go well? Thoros'l will grunt. Oh, sounds great. Sprout, how you doing?
Okay.
Did you glean anything that Master Alanere here may have missed?
Not really. I think I may have made your captain friend a little bit unnerved. I apologize for that. And I apologize for taking on your personification, if you will. Hopefully, I didn't do any harm to your character.
Doesn't sound like it. Let's maybe keep that as a plan B next time, though. Out of character for a second. Are the two redheads still here? I kind of assumed they were, but
Yes, Kemet and Lars are here. They're not currently. Neither of them are currently like in the room.
oh, okay. Gotcha.
Makaria is going to poke her head right back in for one moment. Eldrick, when you detect if they are lying or not, do you want them to be alive?
When I detect if they are lying or not, do I want them to be alive? I'm gonna go with a solid yes.
Okay, never mind. Can't do it. Let me go look.
Okay. Just as an FYI, I can detect lies too, so I'm good on that one. It's
I was going to
illusion.
create a rune.
Hey, you got a rune that does that. That sounds fantastic too. All right. Well, we've got a potentially very angry guard captain and a warden of the White Tree coming, likely with armed guards, possibly angry at me for magic with lots of questions because they think I know things about this event, which I do. So I'm going to go with honesty is the best policy and probably lay out what's going on to these two fine gentlemen and see if we can find some support. Thoughts, comments, recipes from the peanut gallery here?
I would say if they show any signs or indications that they may have ill plans or ill will, potentially be prepared to not allow them to leave right away.
I'm going to go out with you mean if they seem to be wrapped up in the plot as opposed to just they don't believe me and want to arrest me. Yeah?
Correct.
Excellent. Because we are not in the business. He looks directly at Thoros'l. We are not in the business of murdering official personnel of the country of Bloodstone. I'm sure Thoros'l goes,
He goes,
sure.
I'm sure Thoros'l was also like, Eldrick's the greatest ever.
No, he's not.
not so much.
Having faith that somebody will keep their word is not the same as believing that they know what they're doing. But yeah, Master Alanere, do you have any more thoughts on how we might ascertain whether or not who you saw was actually Queen Christine?
Not really. Not without actually getting a body to look at, and there was nothing left there. Thinking back on it, do I remember if there was like actually like more blood than I had remembered that was splattered all over the floor?
It would have been really hard to say at that point in time
Oh,
because
because it had all the ale and stuff all
you
over
broke
the
a
floor too,
cask,
didn't
a,
it?
a very large cask of drink down there. So it was just a bloody, muddy mess down there.
I say, yeah, it was. They had cleaned up pretty good. With I really have no way of determining if it was her or not.
Stupid question, but does anybody have the ability to commune with the dead?
I think you actually have to have part of their body or something, don't you?
No. I mean, theoretically, if it's just on a different plane, perhaps we could visit that plane.
Well, as I have never been to another plane, and my only way to ascertain whether or not for the rest of the day, probably, and that doesn't really seem to be on the docket for talking to a guard captain and a warden of the White Tree. So options seem limited at the moment.
So I really see this playing two ways. We convince them that there's a real threat and they're not in on it, or they are in on it and things go bad very quickly. Or we try
Well,
and convince them and they don't believe us.
you were attacked outside the city.
True.
So if they come here looking for trouble, I'm going to guess they're probably not part of whatever it was that tried to get you. I think that would be two different plots because if they had the ability to walk into one of the most powerful merchants in the city's house and throw down, they probably just would have attacked you in the street at night.
I mean, I really think that I just don't think they were high enough to be in on it.
Who, the drow?
No, the captain.
No, right. But I'm saying if the whatever conspiracy attempted to murder you this evening, if they could have done it in the city, they probably would have.
But don't
So
forget, they did try to murder you in the city.
I don't think that was the same group. First off, I feel like your murder was quite well planned, and the attempt on
It
my life
was.
was so half-hearted that it didn't even kill my horse.
Well, that makes me feel better. We have multiple factions trying to kill us now.
Oh, I mean,
When have you
at one
not,
point we
honestly?
at one point we had a party member that was trying to kill us. So I mean, this is kind of a Tuesday, right?
Just another Tuesday.
But yeah, I don't. If they're coming here with arms, I would suspect that they're whoever it is attempting to do a legal action. Not, I would not expect that the plot that tried to get you is going to try to get us in the city. After more thought on the subject, it seems unlikely that they would have went to such lengths to get you out of the city if they didn't have to. And certainly the inn that you were staying at or ostensibly staying at is not even half as guarded as this manor is. Order of magnitude, right? If they could have got you in the city, they would have tried, I think. Unless they didn't know who you were, but I find that unlikely. Hmm.
Yeah, I just don't know.
All right. So what are we going to do now? We'll say it's a little after 3 a.m. Expectation is that sunrise, which is when Gerbald said he would arrive, is somewhere between
later then.
3 and 4 hours away.
Well, I suspect a bunch of us should probably get some sleep. I'm going to go inform Master, I forgot his name, Master Holly, that we will probably have guests and let him know the nature of that visit, or at least what we expect that to be. And then I expect we probably need to get a little sleep before they get here. I
Does
don't
that
Probably a
suspect we're
good
going to
idea.
do any more clue hunting this evening.
does that suggest that the remainder of the party is going to stay here within the manor for the evening, or are you planning on going back to the Bloodstone Arms?
Eldrick will suggest that they stay here.
And Makaria is going to perform a ritual before going to bed
Oh my.
over the entire grounds except the common area where I know Eldrick is going to hold the meeting, like that living area where everyone kind of does everything. And she'll do the private sanctum spell so that it is warded against divination, planar travel, teleportation, and can't be um, basically spied upon,
Interesting.
except for the area where everyone is expected to be talking out in the open.
Are you talking about the courtyard or like that big room that we were all huddled in previously?
That big room we were in previously,
Okay, where we had our original war room, so to speak,
because where everyone
your deal was.
expects
Mhm,
someone to just look at anyway.
I
That's
gotcha.
that's where you are currently.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so you're taking care of the entirety of the manor except for the sitting room that you're currently sitting in.
Yep.
My word. I like that spell.
Okay.
That stops a lot of stuff, eh?
It does, but I am specifically not making it foggy. I am not preventing um, anything to be seen or sound. So, like everything else normal, but
I
except for those things.
I am both intrigued and terrified that I have no clue what spell you're talking about because that's a lot of stipulations you get to make there. That's crazy.
But this is the one that I chose that didn't have it's called like wards and alleys or something like that or whatever. Yeah, that one
Yeah,
was ridiculous.
nice. I like it.
But that's a 4th level, so yeah, I'll be spending that before I take a small rest.
Okay, and that's a 24-hour duration.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Well,
4th
I'm gonna go find Master Holy, assuming that he's awake.
Yeah, well, he is not, but he makes himself available to you. Essentially, all you have to do is ask for somebody to go fetch him, and he'll come. Not as impeccably dressed, probably in just a.
I probably won't send somebody to summon him.
Oh, I
I'll
see.
send somebody with a note, and the note will basically just say, "These people are coming to have a conversation with me. They should be here before day. I'm gonna inform the guards real quick because I don't want him to have to like traipse around the whole manor
I see.
if he
Okay.
doesn't feel he has to. Because he needs sleep too. As far as I'm aware, he's a mortal man. So as far as I'm aware, what it was true seeing what anyway. And then I'll go real quick, inform the guards that that is what I expect to happen. Right, these 2 people probably with some additional city personnel will be here within the next X hours to have conversation with me. Come and get
And
me. Let me know, and we'll let him in.
okay, and where should they be escorted? To the sitting room on the 2nd floor.
Yeah, to the is that the room that Makaria didn't
Correct.
yes. The 2 gentlemen should be escorted there. If they have any additional personnel, you'll need to let me know before I make a decision on where they should be.
Okay, that can be done.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Then we get a little shut eye.
All right. Well, as Oakheart is not a huge manor, the only remaining room that is available for your companions to rest in would be either this one, which is perfectly fine. You can stay in the sitting room. It's got comfy couches. And there is one additional sort of guest quarters, not particularly large or lavish, but there is a set of quarters that are here on the on the 2nd floor. Bear with me.
On the same map you are.
No, you're not. I'm getting there.
Okay.
Let's make sure. I think that's
Just
the
off
one.
the cuff. Just off the cuff, likely we give Makaria the room, and then the boys are in the guest room, or in the I'm sorry, in the sitting room. Hey, there's a lot more furniture here again.
Yeah.
That's not worrisome.
So
Horses.
So here we are on the 2nd floor of Oakheart. You are currently in the sitting room, which is over here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Eldrick's chambers are back here, and the remaining guest chambers are here. So, generally speaking, the Eldrick, you both have access to the stairwell where you can leave your quarters without going through your guests' rooms. But and then make it over to the sitting room. But either way, Makaria has this room. The gentleman will post up in the sitting quarters, and and that's where you end up for the evening.
Yeah, and I'll be in my room because I like a cushy bed.
Indeed.
Little snooty like that.
All right. Any additional preparations that you want to make before we fast forward to morning?
Actually, hold on one second because I actually might have a little bit of. Looking up a spell, looking up a spell, looking up a spell.
What about the rest of you? Sprout, Alanere, Makaria? anything additional that you want to do between now and when you try to get a little bit of shut-eye?
Nope, no prep for me. Sorry.
No. Like, at this point, I don't even know if we'll get enough sleep from Revo to get spells.
You will not be able to get a full long rest. That
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah, that's out. So I'll just try and get as much sleep as I can so I'm not suffering from exhaustion.
Word.
You can take a short rest, obviously. Not that anybody specifically is wounded or anything like that, or needs to take anything like that. But anything that you get back from a short rest, like I think most of Thoros'l's stuff as a blood hunter, he gets his warlock spells back or his blood hunter spells back.
I'll be taking arcane recovery.
Yeah, and getting some of your stuff back as well.
I actually will use some
Oh yeah, you are.
hit dice. Yeah, I'm still wounded a little bit,
That's true.
even after Eldrick's healing.
Yeah,
so I will.
it's almost like it's been a month since we played this game.
I know, right? So.
All right. Well, that being the case, Alanere, you go ahead and take care of any healing that you need to do via hit dice. I'll trust you to manage that. And we'll go ahead and skip forward to the a guard, effectively, or perhaps it would be a house guard. In fact, it would be.
Nope.
Sorry, go ahead.
Real quick, we take like a 5-minute break.
Oh,
My wife just
absolutely.
got
If we
home.
need to take a break, yeah, let's do that. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll
Thank you.
We'll be back in just a short few minutes. Those of you who are out there watching, stick around. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Apologies for the break, but duty and nature, all those things call.
It does.
We will we'll get back into the action, or the lack thereof. Potential action. Well, what is this? Potential energy that is about to be released? Potentially. I don't know. Anyway, back to Bloodstone. Alanere will be back with us here momentarily, but we're not going to wait any longer. So no further preparation or anything. We're just going to jump into the morning. What happens in the morning?
I think so.
That is the case, yeah.
Fantastic. Then a few hours later, even you, Eldrick, managed to finally get a little bit of sleep. You're able to kind of quiet your mind, even though there's anticipation of the meeting to come and of a great number of things on the pike, coming down the pike for you. But
Yep.
your kind of disciplined military mind, you are able to kind of put your thoughts in order and push things off to the side for a little while and manage to get yourself a couple hours of sleep. But again, it doesn't feel like it has been very long at all when you hear a gentle tapping at your door and the notification that your guests have arrived. There is you're notified that there are 4 gentlemen who are awaiting in the courtyard for your order to be brought upstairs.
What do the 4 gentlemen look like? I assume there's a guard captain, a cleric, and what else?
There appear to be another pair of soldiers, both men. One is a dwarf. Armored, armed, very, very official looking.
Bring him up. Thank you very much. Bring him up. I'm gonna go kick some people awake.
You go to the sitting room and you find that Durban Holy has made it here before you by a pretty significant margin. It appears. There's already breakfast that is being tidied away, all except for a small portion for you and some piping hot tea. and it appears that Master Holy will be managing this or providing service for this meeting personally.
I'm gonna step over to him and ask him to stay for the meeting.
I wouldn't think otherwise. Baron Oaks. Is there anything?
Just so you
Go ahead.
Just so you are aware, I intend to tell them much, as I have told you. The intention is to root out whether or not they are to be trusted, given the nature of the assault last night.
Is Makaria here in the room? Or is she hiding out?
Invisible.
You're present in the room but invisible?
I will be outside in the hallway.
Okay.
Right where, the line of undetected divination.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Okay.
My word.
Then
Makaria is kind of scary. Gonna be honest. A little scary.
Okay. Then Makaria is not in the room. We'll put Makaria out in the hallway and essentially out of the way.
I'm not trying to hear everything. Like, I'm not pressed against the door. I know in nature that just being in the hallway, I'm going to miss things. So I am just catching things here and there.
Understood. Okay. Then after a okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna ask Durbin what he told my mother about this morning.
Your mother has not been roused from her slumber yet. Should she be?
No, but I suspect she probably does not want to just randomly walk in on a meeting such as this.
It will be explained to her whenever she awakes that you are taking a private meeting in the family chambers this morning. That
Excellent.
Wardens of the White Tree, Eldrick. You certainly
I
do
do
attract attention.
I only the best for Oakhart.
Your lady companion. He kind of gives you a kind of a sideways. He doesn't say any more than that.
With a warden attending, I suspected she should make herself scarce. Seemed prudent. Seemed like something you'd recommend.
He almost smiles. Gives you a very, very faint nod. Makaria, you want to say something?
When I cast invisibility, the suggestion spell would have automatically dropped. So,
Yes.
just if anything, they would have known that.
Once you went to sleep, your concentration. Oh, no, it's not a concentration spell, is it? Suggestion is not a concentration.
No, it is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It is.
Okay, so whenever you finally fell asleep, the concentration would have dropped on suggestion, and you would have lost that. So.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Does that change the number of people waiting in the
It does not.
courtyard?
It does not.
Just double checking. All right.
My expectation that the spell would not have lasted is unchanged.
Yep. I am gonna have my new shield and my new hammer with me, but not necessarily on me.
Are you wearing armor?
I don't currently have any armor. Right, I got like an order in for plate mail, but I haven't gone back to pick it up yet.
Thoros'l is, as usual, fully armed and armored.
Yeah, all the accoutrements of a standard murder machine.
Yes. Okay. Shall I? Durbin says, "Shall I send in? Shall I have guards posted?"
Absolutely, we should present all of the pomp and circumstance with which we would expect them to expect from a Baron. So yes, I would expect some guards.
I
I
know.
shouldn't expect they have to do much, but
Understood. Then I will. I will post. I will ensure that the proper arrangements are made. I will see to their reception personally. Your guests.
appreciated. Thank you.
Durbin Holy leaves. Mere moments later, Kemet and Lars Narble enter the room, and they are dressed differently today. They are dressed in the full Bloodstone, or not Bloodstone, Oakheart House Guard uniforms and armor. They're not carrying visible weapons. At least they don't have swords belted on or anything like that, but they do. They do have their standard truncheons that are, you know, at their sides. But no blades or anything like that that are available. And they take up positions on either side of you. My expectation is that you would probably be positioned across from the doorways where your guests would be led, and your companions probably are going to be, you know, essentially elsewhere, so that your guests can, you know, can have direct access to you.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's
Absolutely.
the way we'll play it. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit on the on this thing. So we've got
Twins
just
are the Narvels, right?
correct, Kemet and Lars Narble.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let Kemet and Lars. I'm pretty sure they were there for the previous conversation with Holy. So I'm just gonna let them know the same thing, that I intend to be very upfront with the gentlemen who have come, for the purpose of making sure that we're all on the same page. Yep. I don't expect any trouble, but one never knows.
Indeed.
Couldn't have been any vaguer there. Good job, Eldrick.
A few moments later, so you get the feeling that Master Holy is giving you a few moments to prepare yourself and everything prior to leading your guests up. But you hear footsteps on the stairwell, and then a moment later, the door here opens, and Master Holy escorts in 4 individuals, all wearing Bloodstone Army uniforms. And they're exactly as they were described. And he announces them as such. There are 4 human men and 1 dwarf man. He introduces them as Captain Leif Gerbald of the Army of Bloodstone, and Painbearer Japhet Bogdan of the Church of Ilmater, Sergeant Durek Ironfist and Darian Zivanmir of the Bloodstone Army. And the 4 of them walk in, note you standing or sitting at the table, and they give the customary bow and stand awaiting your instruction, I suppose. Reception.
Which one's the dwarf? Is that Iron Fist?
Durek Iron Fist, yeah, is a dwarf.
So it's Durek Iron Fist?
I'll put them in the chat for you.
Excellent. I typed them out very quickly and very not correctly. Chat. All right. Eldrick will greet them. Greetings, friends. If you might have a seat, I think we have much to discuss about the events of this last evening.
Baron Oaks, you have my appreciation for this audience. I agree. There's much that we must discuss. The captain takes a few steps forward and assumes the chair directly across from you. The pain bearer, Japhet Bogdan, steps up and does not sit. He steps up to the captain's side, to his right side, and stands just a pace behind him. Iron Fist does not move at all. He stands just inside the doorway, and Zvonimir, the other man, walks across to this doorway and stands. My apologies for the early audience, my lord. It is these are very difficult times, and I spoke to your companion, your man, this morning.
No apologies. No apologies needed. Let me introduce my companions so that we're all familiar with one another. This is Alanere Nightsky, who
I'll give a nod, like a deep nod,
you know,
almost bow-like.
this is Thoros'l One Ear, who I'm assuming just ignores them. And this is our world jumping companion, Sprout. I believe you are familiar with some of them. Alanere is likely the one you spoke with.
Yes, Baron, that is correct.
They informed me of the situation, and that you and them had spoken about the incident.
That is correct.
I have much to say, but if you have any specific questions, I'd like to hear them first.
Indeed. Then immediately down to business then. I must inform you that my companion, and he kind of gives a very, very slight indication of the priest standing next to him, will be casting an enchantment to prevent the utterance of falsehoods during this interview, during this audience. My apologies.
Absolutely, I intend to say the same prayer if you would not mind.
That is your prerogative, as this is your home.
He'll look to the pain bearer. Brother, would you like to say the prayer with me?
Indeed, he says. Just simple, very kind of low, almost hollow sounding deep voice. Indeed. And he starts to go into a very long and drawn out prayer to Ilmater, asking for him to guide these proceedings and safeguard against deception. Does anybody in the room wish to attempt to save against the Zone of Truth spell?
Technically,
Nope.
does anybody wish to save against both Zones of Truth spells?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you do, then you'll have to do it twice, because it's being cast twice.
Nope.
Eldrick does not.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Thoros'l will not either, as Thoros'l doesn't intend to do a whole lot of talking.
Yeah, he's probably just he's gonna
Thoros'l
take
doesn't care to lie.
He doesn't care enough about these people to lie to them.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
All right, so it is, if you want to attempt to make a saving throw, it is a charisma saving throw. But if no one is attempting to save, then we will go right past that. If you are not saving, you cannot knowingly tell a lie. You can be evasive.
Fair enough.
You can avoid answering questions, but you have to tell the truth. Okay, so once the prayers have been uttered and the spells have been cast,
Oh, real quick, you know whether or not each creature succeeds or fails on a save. Do any of them save?
they do not resist.
Excellent. I like this already.
The
Let me go mark that spell. That is a second level spell.
the captain says, "Very well then. I will proceed with the interview. Your name is Baron Eldrick Oks,
Yes.
and you were present at the Shadows Rest Tavern last evening. I'm
No.
sorry, earlier this morning.
No.
Explain."
My advisors did not wish for me to leave the manor on the based on the situation that had occurred, and my man Sprout went in my place. I do apologize for the deception. It was not intentional, but perhaps necessary.
Your companion, and he indicates Sprout, impersonated you on your order.
Not on my order, no. It was some improvisation. I think if you reserve judgment until the end of this meeting, you will understand why.
Fair enough. Alanere, can you mute for the time being? We're getting a lot of feedback from you.
Oh, sorry.
Weird.
Yeah. Strangeness. Internet weirdness, I guess.
That's the pain bearer's spell getting angry at all my truth I'm laying out.
So then you had foreknowledge of the situation that took place at the Shadows Rest Tavern this morning. You sent your people there knowing that there had been a situation?
Yes.
Explain.
Alanere, would you like to describe the events as they unfolded? I would include all the information.
Yes, I will explain the events that happened.
How deep are you going into it as far as what led to the meeting?
He will basically go into the, hey, I was meeting with the queen as I'm a druid in her circle, and then kind of lay out the situation as it unfolded.
The the captain purses his lips as you're talking, and he, as you mention Queen Christine, the first time, he frowns and waits for you. Outline for me what you're telling him as far as the detail that you're going into. This is important.
Okay. I guess it kind of really is important. So he will go into detail of saying, you know, I'm a druid in the queen's circle. I'm a trusted agent of hers. I had gotten a message from her that the palace was not safe and to meet her there so we could discuss the events that were going on. And we didn't get to do much discussing, and then because he'll kind of describe the situation as it happened. So, but he will say that he did go there to meet the queen because she said the palace was not safe.
And you go into detail to say that whenever you arrived, you found her wounded, and then the ambush was sprung, and you don't know what happened to her.
Yes. And that's why we were going back to investigate to see if we could find anything.
So Gerbald's face goes completely stone cold at the mention of you finding the queen wounded and then being ambushed by Draugg. And it's very clear that there's bewilderment and shock on his expression, despite the fact that he tries very hard to keep it together. He says, "Who else knows of this meeting? Who else knows of the queen's involvement?"
As far as I know, only her and I knew of it.
Who else is aware of, or who else have you told this?
This room.
Just my companions. No one else.
Eldrick's going to lean
Except
in a
you
little
now.
bit. As Alanere finishes up, Eldrick's going to lean in a little bit. Captain Gerbold, can you assure me that you were not aware of those events before investigating at the tavern?
He kind of looks up at Bogdan, who's standing next to him, and the two of them share just a momentary glance. I can assure you that the Wardens were unaware of any involvement by the Crown or by the Queen. This is new information.
Eldrick will stand up. I didn't ask about the Wardens. I asked about you.
Apologies, Baron. Speaking on behalf of the Wardens, I had no knowledge of any involvement by the Queen, and my companions will echo that sentiment. I speak. I had no intention to dissemble or to deceive. I speak on behalf of the Wardens.
I think, based on the story that you just heard, you can understand my desire for exactness.
Indeed.
So let me be very clear and very exact. I, Eldrick Oks, Baron of Morov, am loyal to the Bloodstone Kingdoms. I expect the four of you to say the same right now.
Without hesitation, all four, in not exactly perfect unison, but up on your request, they do exactly the same thing. They say, "I," followed by their names, "am entirely loyal to the throne of Bloodstone and the Bloodstone Kingdom."
And none of you are somebody else in disguise?
I am myself. Some form of that echoed by all four.
Excellent. Captain Gerald, do you know why the Central District is closed?
I do.
Will you tell me?
I will not. Unfortunately, Baron, that information, the ability to disseminate that information, is considerably above my jurisdiction. I might suggest that you speak with crap, I don't have the name. He'll give you the name of the commander of the Bloodstone army the regiment in Heliogabalus. If you require that information, I suggest that you speak with Commander or High Marshal
Sure. Yep.
XYZ.
Right. He gives me that info. Captain, pain bearer, sergeant, and then whatever the rank of the other person is.
They're both sergeants.
Yep, sergeants. I assume that you all can take the gravity that I have trusted you with the information that we have just given you. You are going to do with that as you will, but I think that you can understand that I am playing at a bigger situation than one misdirection that that has occurred. And I don't know what's going on in the central district, but my gut tells me that it is related. What do you think, Captain?
I think that this new information must be reported to my superiors. If
Who
the
is
if
your superior?
there will be a who's the ranking officer over.
But he's going to give me a name, right?
He'll give you a name. It will not
Right.
be the High Marshal, but it will
Sure.
be someone very high in the ranks of the Bloodstone Kingdom or the
Right.
Bloodstone Army.
Right. Eldrick will follow up with, how well do you trust that person, and
Implicitly,
how loyal to the realm do you think they are?
Baron Oks, the Wardens are a very elite detachment within the Bloodstone Army. By necessity, for what our job entails, we have safeguards. I would not speak with any man or woman within our ranks if I was not entirely certain of their ability to be trusted. And I trust in our system. You should too. The Wardens are allies. That being said, the idea that the throne itself may be in danger or may have been compromised is information that must be reported immediately. For that reason, I must unfortunately declare this audience at its end. I must
You will
return and
not be
report.
leaving. You will not be leaving until I am done. I appreciate the nature of the situation and what you need to do. We will finish this audience before you are leaving. And you will be leaving under your own accord. I assure you of that. But I am not done.
Make me either a persuasion or an intimidation check. Where's my music? My music's gone.
I'm definitely making a persuasion check. I'm going to make a persuasion check. In that vein, you must understand my position. I am Baron of a province of this realm. I am a knight of the Golden Cup. You must understand that I cannot allow you to leave until we are absolutely finished with this conversation.
His expression gets very tight and very, will not say offended, but
That's a 12. Fuck me.
with respect, Baron Oks, while I have all respect for you and the office that you serve, I do not answer to you. This meeting is over. You will be debriefed further when an opportunity arises. But unless you intend to physically hold us here, we will be taking our leave.
You need to report back the information that you have learned, yes?
Correct.
May Painbearer Joffet stay and continue this conversation?
He turns to the
I need
priest.
you to understand, as he's looking, I need you to understand that I have every incentive to, I'm sure at this point I would refresh my Zone of Truth, and he probably would as well. I have every need to ensure that Gareth and the Queen are protected and that the realm is safe. I have more questions that need to be answered, and I suspect you do as well.
Indeed. That is acceptable. Painbearer Bogdan will remain, and I shall return at my earliest availability.
Captain, I want you to know that I believe you and that I understand what you must do. You get back to me when you have to.
He stands, he gives you a nod. Baron Oks. He turns and strides out. The dwarf follows. The other man in the room does not. He stays with the priest. Whew! Okay. So
Yeah.
moments later, the sound of heavy boots on the stairs heading down into the courtyard disappears. The pain bearer, Jaffet Bogdan, does not sit, but he puts his stands effectively behind the chair that was just vacated by the captain. And in his kind of low, kind of hollow, intoning voice, ask what you will of me, but know that some answers must be provided by, well, understand that I will only provide answers afforded by my station. We must follow chain of command.
Out of character, what I would know about his organization, at least tangentially.
Yeah.
What is he, a mid-ranking, high-ranking, low-ranking member of that order? I mean, they're kind of like Judge Dredd, like they do what they need to, but
yeah. Generally speaking, pain bearers are not generally military assets. He is a member of the organization, but he is probably not within the chain of command. He is more likely an adjutant or an assistant to the captain, meaning that he has certain information. Yeah, he has whatever information is allowed to him by virtue of being an adjutant to the captain, but he doesn't have an official place within the rank and file. Go ahead.
I might have misunderstood this situation a little bit. Is Leif Geribald also one of the wardens?
Correct. They both wear the same insignia.
Oh, okay. I get it. I gotcha. Excellent. Well, then in that case, Eldrick will kind of lose a little bit of the pomp and kind of step up to this man, not in an aggressive way, just in a friendly manner. And he'll say, Painbearer, I respect your station and your situation. As a fellow follower of Ilmater, as a paladin of Ilmater, you know the oath that I took. And I know the tenets with which you follow. Do you have any questions for me, given this situation?
Without any hesitation at all, he looks you directly in the eye and says, "Where is the witch that followed you?" And that is where we will end tonight's session. because it is 10 o'clock,
Oh.
and that is a perfect point of a perfect place to end on a
And it's so good. Oh my
cliffhanger.
god. You have no idea that all the sessions that we've been off, I'm like just mulling over this in my head.
All right, so that will be the end of tonight's session. Episode 16 in the book. Please join us next week. Hopefully, next week is the 18th of July.
Woo.
I don't see any immediate reason why we would not be able to continue. Apologies once again to our viewers. We have been very spotty in our sessions, our Bloodstone sessions of late. I'll blame it on the summer and vacations and things of that nature. We will attempt to pick up next Tuesday for episode 17 and figure out where this conversation goes. Please feel free if you're into it. We have Apocalypse action on Thursday night, Friday and Saturday this week. We'll say there's a possibility that one or the other will happen, either Friday night fights or Summoners Saturday, but likely not both. We will see. I will put our information, put more information as I have it in our Discord, which Nightbot has just linked in the chat. If you're interested, I'll attempt to tweet that information out as well. Everybody have a wonderful evening, a great night, and we will see you on Thursday. If not on Thursday, if you're not going to join us for Apocalypse action or any of our League of Legends content, then we hope to see you back here next Tuesday for episode 17. Have a great night. Good night, all.
Yeah. Fantastic night, everybody.